Okay, here's our part 2 video for lesson 1. We're getting into solving a ratio problem when we have a word problem similar to this one shown. There's going to be 2 methods you could use to solve something like this. So let's first read through the problem. You mix half a cup of yellow paint for every 3/4 cup of blue paint to make 15 cups of green paint. How much yellow paint and blue paint do you use? So I want to know, in order, or when we make 15 cups of green paint, how much yellow and how much blue is there? Because you would mix yellow and blue together to make green. So our first method, one way to do this is to create a ratio table, which I've already set up and created for you. But if you were going to choose this method on your own, you would have to know how to set up and create a table like this. So something to know is that the number of things that you're mixing or we're talking about, you'll always have that many rows. You'll have a row for each of them, the yellow and the blue, and then you'll have a total cup row or just a total row. So you'll always have one more than however many things you're mixing, and you're going to keep it the same. So if this is 3, we have 3, these are columns, then we'll also have 3 rows. So we have a 3x3 table here because we're mixing 2 things together. So now let's just plug in what we know. It's half a cup of yellow paint for every 3/4 cup of blue paint. So I'm going to put a half here for the yellow, and it's 3/4 here for the blue. We're trying to get to a total of 15 cups. So that's going to go in your bottom right-hand corner. So now, when we're moving across our rows, we add going across to get a total. Okay, and that would happen with all of these. Once we know those 2, they should add and get the same thing, and then whatever you get down here, we should get to equal 15. So we always add going across. So let's figure that out. Let's add what we can. 1/2 plus 3/4. In order to add these, they have to have a common denominator. And I'm just going to rewrite this so it's easier. I should have written my fractions this way. So my common denominator can be 4. So I'm going to change this to a 4, which means this would change to a 2. So now 2/4 plus 3/4 gives me a total of 5/4. Or if you want to write it as 1 1/4, you can, but I'm okay if you keep it improper because it might end up helping you in the end. So now what you have to do is you'll have to know that when we go down a row or down a column, this way, our numbers get multiplied to get this number. So I would multiply this and this to get this. That makes sense. So that means whatever I multiply 5/4 by, it should give me 15. So knowing that, we can figure out what that middle number over here is. What that middle number here is. Because I know that I have to multiply something by 5/4 to get 15. So if I'm trying to figure out what I would multiply, let's divide 15 by 5/4, and that's going to give you that middle number. When we divide with fractions, we keep, change, flip. And now let's just multiply. I'm going to cross simplify. This will become that'll become a 3. This becomes a 1. 4 times 3 is 12. So I multiply by 12 here. Now, something that I didn't really highlight on much, this row is going to be the same. So if this is 12, this should be 12, and this will be 12. Whatever I multiply this top row by to get the bottom is going to be the same for all of these. So now in order to figure out how much yellow and blue, I'm going to multiply each of these by 12. So I have to do 1/2 times 12. What's half of 12? 6. and then what's 3/4 times 12? If you need to, go to the side, write 3/4 times 12. I'm going to cross simplify. I get 9. Now you can check whether or not you're correct by saying, okay, is 6 plus 9, does that give me 15? Yes. So I would need 6 cups of yellow, 9 cups of blue in order to make 15 total cups of green. So these would be my two answers, 6 and 9. Now, that's one way to do it with a ratio table. You set up that nice table. You just need to remember going across, we add, going down, we multiply. This middle row will always be the same number across. Once you figure it out, you just put it all the way across. Now, the other method is to use ratios, part to whole ratios. So you're going to set up, okay, it's 1/2 part yellow, so I would create a ratio for yellow and then create a ratio for blue, and that's going to help me find my green. So my yellow, it's 1/2 cup, so my part is 1/2. My whole, you would need to find that total. When you add 1/2 and 1/3, we already did that, we got 5/4. So we do the part over the whole, and you would set up the same thing for blue. It's 3/4 to 5/4. And then what you would do is you would divide these in order to simplify it, because remember, it's division. When I divide, I keep change and I flip it. So I would keep 1/2, change to multiplication, and flip it to 4/5. So now when I cross simplify, this gives me 2/5. So I know that it's going to be 2/5 yellow, but I'm not done. And then I know that it's going to be, I'll do the same thing down here. So keep, change, and I'll end up flipping it. And it should be 3/5 blue. So for every 3 parts blue, it's 2 parts yellow if the total is 5. So these are important ratios, but those aren't our answers. They're going to help us get to our final answer. Remember, we wanted to know if the total is 15. So what you would have to do with each of your parts is set this equal to 15 in the denominator. What would I multiply by 5 to get 15? 3. So now do the same to the top. What's 3 times 3? 9, which means we would need 9 cups blue. And then you're going to do the same thing to figure out the yellow. So again, I want to know, it was 2/5 is the ratio. So 2/5, I'm trying to get that to 15. So I'm just going to rewrite this up here for us. 2/5. My part whole, I want the whole now to be 15 cups of green. So times 3, that means there would be 6 cups yellow. So 9 cups blue, 6 cups yellow. Would that make 15 total cups of green? Well, does 6 and 9 together equal 15? Yes. And you should know that these are your answers because we already did the first method. It should match. Did we get the same answers? 6 and 9, 6 and 9. So either method works, whichever one you prefer, I want you to use, and it's now your turn. So choose a method, either the first or the second, and then try to figure out how much blue and yellow there would need to be if I want to now make 20 cups of green paint. So same mixture, it's 1/2 cup of yellow for every 3/4 cups of blue, but now how much would I need of each to make 20 cups of green paint? So choose whichever method you want. Pause the video and press play when you're ready to check yourself. So I'm going to use the first method, a ratio table. So you would have to set up your ratio table. We're mixing two things, so I should have a 3 by 3 table, right? And I would label it. So I might want to keep it consistent with the table we had up here. So it was yellow, blue, and total. So this is going to be my yellow column, my blue column, and my total or my green column. So same information here, right? Half a cup of yellow for every 3/4 blue. Well, we can still keep those same numbers. This is still 5/4. But now I want this total down here not to be 15, but to be 20. First thing you should do is figure out, what do I multiply 5/4 by to get 20? So in order to figure out what you multiply by, you would divide them to get that answer. So do 20 divided by 5/4. We're going to flip it. So keep it, and I'll write it as a fraction. Change and flip. I'm going to cross simplify. And then I'm going to multiply just across. So 4 times 4 is 16. So that means my middle number is 16. So I'd fill everything in. And now we'll multiply going down. 1/2 times 16 gives me 8. 3/4 times 16. You might have to actually do that off to the side, which is fine. Do your math. Be 16 over 1. Cross simplify. 4 times 3 is 12. So your answer, you would need 8 cups of yellow, 12 cups of blue. We know, or I can check myself, because 8 plus 12, does that equal 20? Yeah, so I know I'm good. So 8 yellow, 12 blue, that's our answer here. Give yourself a little star or correct yourself if you need to. But nicely done. This is a tricky skill and we'll continue to practice with it. But those are just two of our methods. Rewatch it as you need to